Okay, so let's get started with what is DevOps. Okay, so before even starting to understand DevOps, right, we need to look at uh, what generally happens when a software is developed, right? A typical software development involves, a bit of development work. Sorry, okay, a bit of development work where we do design of the application. We do the architecture, design, understand how to write, how to develop the code, and go and do the coding, which includes unit testing. Unit testing is wherein we test our code whether it works as expected when everything is passed in a particular format, right? So that a typical development involves design, coding, and unit testing, and then you have another set of phase where we do testing, where the overall application is tested with the manual testing or automation. Nowadays we use automation testing, and then before you do any test, you do have to have a strategy on what scenarios to test, and come up with the various data to test your applications and everything. So after development we do testing, which closely ensures the application works as expected. And then in order to test your application, you need to have kind of various operations done, which is basically on deploying your applications outside your development box. And after you deploy, you monitor it to see whether it works as expected. Do you see any errors, exceptions? And in order to deploy your application, you need to have infrastructure. It might be it might be a VM, or it might be your own server which you have, or any infrastructure where the application runs, right? So an operation involves setting up the infrastructure and maintaining the infrastructure required for the application to run, deploying the application and verifying whether everything works, and then monitoring it for any exceptions or errors. So with these three kind of stages of development, testing, and operations that we do, DevOps acts as a combination of all three, where a part of DevOps, a part of QA, and operations together come up with processes called of for DevOps. Right now, in case of a DevOps, you even in DevOps you do coding development, and then you automate the overall operations part of it, which includes your unit testing, executing unit test cases when you write a code, when you and validating the application after you deploy onto the infrastructure, and how do you create your infrastructure itself, right? So everything is automated using various processes, and DevOps is basically groups all the operations that we do across three stages into one. Okay, so that's a very simple way of saying what is DevOps. And if you all are from the have some experience on the software, then you would be part of one of these three teams at this point. Either you'll be a developer, you will be a tester, or you will be part of your operations team. So DevOps will help, has a lot of tools, multiple platforms, multiple tools, which will help you to automate your overall development process, and do a faster delivery of the applications.